Mario 64 is widely regarded as the game that revolutionized the 3D gaming world and paved the way for 3D games. And for me, and probably a lot of you out there, this was the game that made us most of our childhood. I remember the game made me feel as if it was infinite and I was in a dream, and each level felt unique in its own way. From exploring the castle, or going underwater, or the best one, which was being able to toss Bowser around. But over the last couple of years, this might have changed for a lot of people, mainly because every time you go and search for Mario 64, you'll just get hit with countless video on how this game became a horror game. And yes, I know I'm adding one more to the list, but I don't really care. I've always wanted to make a video on Mario and I figured this was good enough. And also, hi, I'm Elijah and welcome to my first video on this channel, I guess.
Help me.
I still don't know how to introduce myself on here, so don't mind me. Anyway, back to the video. But despite Mario 64 being this fun, goofy, and dreamlike game we all came to know and love, was it truly as innocent as we remember, or did it always just hide some dark secret we didn't see because we were kids? So grab a snack and sit back as we explore the Mario 64 Iceberg. And no, I'm not going to be covering every single one, but the one that seemed to be the most interesting because there's way too many. But anyway, I hope you're comfy and let's begin. It would be a dishonor if I made a Mario 64 Iceberg while mentioning the classic L Israel 2401, which is a reference to Luigi being in the game as a playable character, something that was proven to be true, but not in the way you might think. Exactly 24 years and 1 month after the initial release, there was a Giga leak on sites like 4chan about the game files, and it contained the source code for a beta version of the game, and even some uncompressed voice line for him.
Oh, mamma mia, that's delicious!
After you've collected all the 120 stars, you can actually use a cannon outside of the castle to shoot yourself off to the castle roof where you'll be able to see Yoshi. And he will give you 100 lives and an improved jump which is referred to as the sparkling triple jump. And after interacting with him, he will jump off the roof and you never see him again. The first time the backwards long jump was ever mentioned was on the Spanish Nintendo magazine in November 2000, where that person shared a video showing you how to use the jumping trick to get to the top of the endless stairs with 50 stars. Now, this have to be one of the craziest and most impressive challenges in gaming history. It's pretty much where you'd have to beat the game while pressing the A button as few times as possible, which is absolutely insane. And if you want a really well documented video about the A button challenge, I would recommend checking out Bismuth's video where he goes into deep details about the whole thing. When I was researching this, I was just laughing the whole way. But this is just a meme, but for the longest time, the community thought that while tossing Bowser around, Mario would say, but it was really about Charles Martin himself that Mario was just saying, "So long, King of Bowser." And we all just misheard him, which is pretty funny to me. But to be fair, it did really sound like he said that, which is hilarious. On the 1st of April 2005, a user by the name of King Bowser Cooper posted a picture on the DeviantArt site showing how you can unlock Waluigi, known as the Purple Prize, hence the name of it. But as it turned out, it was only an April Fool's joke, which is kinda dumb, people didn't realize, despite it being posted on the 1st of April, which I find pretty funny and dumb at the same time. Mario 64 2 was actually planned to release in 1999 on the Nintendo 64 DD, which was a magnetic disk drive add-on for the Nintendo 64, but it was only ever released in Japan, only because the console itself was a commercial failure. And little is known about the game, but apparently Luigi and a rideable Yoshi was planned to be in the game. But unfortunately, the console never made it outside of Japan, so I guess we'll never know. Block is a monster that made his first appearance in Super Mario as well, but he was one of the characters that never made it out of the beta stage of Super Mario 64. But you can actually see an unfinished model of Block in the latest file, and honestly it looked kinda creepy, but upon forcing him in the game, this is what he looks like. King Bob-omb is the first boss that you face in the game, and after defeating him, you can go and talk to the Bob-omb buddy and he will tell you Big Bob-omb is nothing but a big dot now. And when you go back to the ball pit, there's actually 3 balls instead of 2, which is quite strange, I guess? I don't know, I found that one kinda weird. The yellow cap switch is an unreleased power-up. In the game, there's actually 3 cap switches you can activate, that being the wind cap, metal cap, and vanish cap. But in the files, you can actually see a yellow cap, which is not in the finished game, but the yellow cap was meant to give us a Koopa shell, which sadly we never got. The first time you enter the third course of the game, you start off on a large lake and you can clearly see the fog over the water and a mysterious haze in the sky. But once you've collected the star in that level, both the dark sky and the fog disappear forever. And the only way you can get it to come back is by starting a whole new file, which is pretty strange. In Big Boo's Hunt, there's an extremely rare chance that you hear a creepy laugh from Boo. But from my research, I can't really find out what caused this, or really no one knows, but this is what it sounds like. In the castle, there's a sign that reads, "Please walk quietly in the hallway." The only reason I'm putting this in the video is because of how unsettling it sounds due to the creepy nature of the game, but I think the dev only had a silly intention when they originally put it in, but it does sound pretty weird nonetheless. In Tiny Huge Island, you get a coin after beating Cooper the Quick in a race, but you can actually kill him by becoming huge and going back to his location. He becomes scared and you can actually squash him like a normal Cooper, and it's the only Cooper in the game that doesn't spawn a shell when you squish him or kill him. This was posted on the Accidental Racism subreddit on the 12th of August 2018. One of the Bob-omb buddies says, "We're peace-loving red Bob-ombs. We aren't blast happy like the black Bob-ombs." Now, this is one of my personal favorite Easter eggs in any game, but this painting is a visual representation of the notes in Ocarina of Time, Songs of Storm, which is absolutely awesome by the way that they did this. The version of Mario that was planned to release on the 64DD console has some interesting changes a lot of people doesn't know about, and one of them include the game music being changed. The Red Koopa is another unused enemy that was meant to be in both the 64 and 64DS. It only contains the shell in the original game, whereas in the DS version it's a fully modeled Red Koopa. In the Japanese box art for Mario 64, there's a yellow pipe that can be seen, but it never even made it into the original or DS version of the game. So why is it there? When Yoshi eats a baby penguin, this message will be the one that usually pops up, but there's a second message that reads, "So, it is true that there's a monster that eats naughty kids." There's no known way to get this message to pop up outside of using cheat, but it's still pretty creepy. Why is it in the game? In the Shindu version of the game, which is best described as the International Edition, there's an unknown image of an employee that can be seen in the file, which is pretty weird and creepy.
You want fun? Wario show you fun.
This refers to the experimental AI that have the ability to alter and tailor the game to be more appealing to you on a subconscious level. And this is probably why if you ever play someone else's Super Mario 64 and it didn't feel right, then this is probably why, I guess? I still don't think the whole experimental AI is real, but it still does feel different for whatever reason. At the E3 1996 Focus on Fun panel, Wario was shown and he said the following phrase.
You want fun? Wario show you fun.
But when taken out of context, his dialogue can be pretty creepy. Despite the colorful and fun world of Super Mario, people have said that they've had nightmares of the game and they've all had similar nightmares. And I can't really blame them, because all you have to do is just be 6 or 7 again and go see the eel underwater and you are set for a guaranteed traumatizing night. To me, it just seemed like something might have just disturbed the player on a subconscious level. A plexus is defined as a network of nerve or vessel in the body, or simply as an intricate network. But without going too in depth about this, it's pretty much referring to the castle inner side in relationship to its outer side. When you look inside of the castle and then the outside, it clearly doesn't match its size and it doesn't really make much sense. Argonaut Games was a British video game developer and is really well known for the iconic Star Fox. And Just Sense, who was the founder of the Argonaut studio, revealed to Eurogamer that they had pitched a Yoshi game idea to Nintendo, which would have been the first 3D platformer to ever come out, but Nintendo had never let an outside company use any of their characters before, and clearly did not want to take the risk, that's why the 3D Yoshi game never ended up being made. But in the same interview, Jez said that Miyamoto went on to make Mario 64, which had the look and feel of a Yoshi game, but with the Mario character instead. But Ogner did ended up making the game that they were talking about, which was named Krog, and it was basically the Yoshi game that they had in mind previously. And Jez also went on to say that Miyamoto came up to me at a show afterwards and apologized for not doing the Yoshi game with us and thanked us for the idea to do a 3D game. But despite looking like Nintendo was just heavily inspired, was that really the case, or did they just use the money and power that they had to create something that wasn't even their idea to begin with?